Greetings, Jay Stone here, Cap and Ball Fanatic Channel. Today we're going to pit an 1860 Army by Pietta standard 8-inch barrel against an 1860 Army by Pietta Sheriff's model with a 5.5-inch barrel in a classic Cap and Ball shootout. Which one is more accurate? Stay with us and find out. All right, so before we get out to the range and see what happens in the shootout between the 1860 Army Standard 8-inch barrel and the 1860 Sheriff model, which is a 5.5-inch barrel, I want to talk just a minute about the 1860 Army. Of course, it was developed in 1860-ish, right around the time the Civil War started. Originally, it was called the New Model Holster Pistol or the New Model Army Pistol. Collectors and others, as time has gone on, have called it the Model 1860 Army. And so the 1860 Army was basically built on a 1851 Navy frame. And what they did is they cut the frame away like they do, and they rebated the cylinder to get the 44 caliber charge, made the forcing cone a lot shorter, added the round and sleek looking 44 caliber barrel. And the grips were made bigger on the Navy frame in order to hold the increased recoil that was expected from the 44 caliber. The 1860 Army really, back in the day, was manufactured in two barrel sizes. The standard barrel size is the 8-inch barrel and 7.5-inch barrel. There was no such thing as a Sheriff model. So in history, this one didn't exist. But sort of like the 1851 Navy in 44 caliber, I don't care. It's a lot of fun. So we're going to test these things out today. We're going to pit, in this video, I'm going to pit what kind of accuracy I can get with an 8-inch barrel against the kind of accuracy that I can get with a 5.5-inch barrel. While we can't make this a scientific study, I'm not putting these on a bench rest. The goal here is not to test the gun's precision. We're going for shooter accuracy. And I want to test the theory that I've always been told, that long barrels are going to be more accurate than short barrels when you get past a certain distance, which is like 12 to 15 yards. So in this shootout, we're going to hold as much constant as we possibly can, okay, between the two revolvers. The shooting portion of this was shot over 2 days. The weather was pretty similar. It was a little sunnier the second day than it was the first. No wind. The temperature was in the mid to upper 30s, so things are about the same in that way. We're going to be shooting both at the same distance, which is 19 yards. We're going to be shooting at the same paper target, those yellow splatter targets. You'll see them when we get there. We're going to load both revolvers with exactly the same load. We're going to see what each revolver does, how I do, I should say, with each revolver over 18 shots at our paper target. So each of these revolvers, we took 18 shots, and we're going to sort of do two things with that. One is we're going to see how many shots out of 18 I can put on the paper target, but we're also going to do the 19th century string test. So that's what we're going to do. Now, the last thing that is also the same is the shooter. And I'm going to be shooting them from 19 yards, one-handed duelist style, and we'll sort of see how it goes. So stick around till the end. We'll have all of our measurements, and we'll make a determination on which one of these revolvers I was able to be the most accurate with. I don't know the answer to that yet. So let's get out to the range, and let's see what happens. So to provide some perspective on today's video and how and where we're shooting from, there's my 20-yard stake right there to that yellow target right there, that yellow splatter target. So if I move right up here, I was shooting just inside the 20-yard marker. Well, a little high and to the left. Ah, good shot. Ah, we got a Hang fire. We did pretty well on that first one, so let's see how this one goes. Shooting it pretty well. Let's see how this one goes. I think we shot pretty darn well. Okay, here we go. All right, it's looking pretty good down there. Hey, J-Stone back again, doing a little after action discussion and taking a look at the results of my head-to-head shootout where I pitted the 1860 Army by Pietta with an 8-inch barrel, this beautiful revolver, against, there we go, against the 1860 Army Sheriff model, also by Pietta, with a 5.5-inch barrel. I like them both. We had a good time with both of them, but what I wanted to do is I wanted to see if one was more accurate than the other, if we held the conditions as close to the same as possible, from about 18 and a half, 19 yards. It sort of depends on, if you watch the video, it sort of depends on where I was standing. I was pretty close to the same spot, so I'm guessing 18 and a half yards. Both guns were loaded the same balls, same loads, same distance, same number of shots, 18 at the paper target. The weather was about the same, and I was doing the shooting one-handed in duelist style, as I normally do. So this is really a test, not of the guns themselves, but of my ability to shoot the guns, my accuracy, which is why we're going to use the string test. I'm assuming, because I've shot both these guns before, that these revolvers are precise if they're if they're aimed correctly. But again, my issue is which one of these in my hands is more accurate from 18, 19 yards. So let's take a look and see what happened. All right, this is the Army Sheriff target. I'm sure you can see that. Now, what we did with the Army Sheriff target is that we ended up putting 15 out of our 18 shots on target. Okay, here is the Army 1860 Army 8-inch target, and there's a hit right there that's hard to see. I ended up putting 17 out of 18 on that target from 18 and a half, 19 yards. So at least at this measure, this seems to be more accurate than this. I missed this one 3 times. Now let's get into the string test. This is what they used in the 19th century. I've done a video on this, and I'll put the link in the show notes. But this is what they used in the 19th century to determine marksmanship, who's a good marksman and not. And it's entirely based on how accurate is the shooter with a particular gun at a particular distance. And what the string test does is that after you put all your shots on target, I take a paper tape measure, and you measure from the point of aim, which is here, to each one of these shots. There's two. And you get a total number of inches from point of aim across all of these shots, and then you divide by the number of shots. So I did that for both of them, and it determines accuracy of the shooter, not precision of the gun. Okay, so remember, that's what we're in this for. So if I did the string test and I cheated a little bit and only counted the shots that hit the target, okay, and we'll talk about the other way in just a minute. So if I only counted the shots that hit the target, then the 1860 Army Sheriff gave me an average hit from my point of aim. So on average, each one of these shots was 2.53 inches from my point of aim. It's not bad. For the 1860 Army, on that initial test across 17 shots, my average distance from my point of aim was 2.82 inches. So in this measure, the Sheriff, I was able to shoot a tighter group amongst those shots that I put on the target than I was with the 1860 Army Standard. But I missed the target 3 times here, and I missed it once there. So let's go to the measure that's going to decide our issue today. And that is, what I do is I've taken the width of my target here, and I've added 8 inches to the total for each missed shot. Okay, so 8 inches. So on the 1860 Army Sheriff, I missed it 3 times. So I have to add 24 inches to my grand total, which when I do that and then divide by 18, I have a total average shot distance from my point of aim of 3.44 inches, which isn't great shooting for me. I like it to be under 3. But, you know, it was a test and we'll take it. If I do the same for the 1860 Army, I put 17 of these 18 on there, so I only have to add 8 inches to the total. So the overall shot total, when I count the miss, for this one was 3.11, which is real close to my acceptable cutoff. So that's going to be all right, given that I shoot these guns, but not a whole ton. Let's review. The 1860 Army 8-inch, I put more on target, and I had the best overall string test average shot distance from my point of aim when you count the misses. It came in second when we don't count the misses. The Army Sheriff, I put 15 of 18 on target, 2.53 when we don't count the misses, but 3.44 when we count the 3 misses. 1860 Army won number of shots on target. And 1860 Army won the string test when we count the misses. So the winner is, in this competition, the standard 8-inch 1860 Army. Woohoo! I think, since I had a great time with both of them, it's sort of a tie, right? But the numbers tell us, these non-scientific J-Stone numbers tell us, that the 1860 Army was my most accurate revolver in this test. So the 1860 Army won our competition. Well, everybody who wins a competition needs a victory lap, right? So I'm going to shoot this 1860 Army at Big Yellow from about 40 yards, and let's see what happens. There's one right in the middle. Another one right in the middle. Ah, there's a miss. Woo! The 1860 Army does its victory lap around the stadium to the cheering of millions by putting 5 out of 6 from about 40 yards. Please let me know in the comments whether you enjoyed this kind of thing and what kinds of things you would enjoy as we move forward here as the weather's breaking, as you can see. So let me know in the comments. I had an awful lot of fun. Again, I hope you did too. If you enjoyed the video or you found some value in it, give me the thumbs up. That helps us out a lot around here. If you haven't subscribed to the Cap and Ball Fanatic channel, consider doing so right now. Share our videos with your friends across social media. We're coming with some more down the road. Let's pray that the weather holds on for us. And again, I'm J-Stone, having a lot of fun. Cap and Ball Fanatic. We'll see you again on down the road the next time.